I'm ready.
Okay, we're going live in 3, 2, 1. Anita Painter, I think we are live. What's going on?
Well, just a lot of sunshine and happiness over here on the island,
Is it
Steve.
sunny today?
It's sunny.
Awesome. It's great here too. Wow, nobody cares about that on YouTube. I just want to remind everybody coming in after the fact. Yeah, for sure. If you're here on the live stream, type your questions in after the fact. If you have questions for Anita Painter, who is on the live stream and is a realtor in Campbell River BC, beautiful sunny Campbell River BC. Are you allowed to say Campbell River without saying beautiful? Oh, you gotta tone down your noise over there. Are you? So you're a realtor in Campbell River. We're going to talk about moving to the island because so many people are doing that, which is absolutely crazy. But before we get there, if you like talking real estate, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and Anita, let's get into it. What's going on? Tell me about your market.
Well, it's been super busy still. We're definitely still seeing some multiple offers. We have a little bit more inventory that's come on in the last 3 weeks. So I think that's really great for a lot of the buyers. Why are you laughing at me, Steve?
What's your inventory? Like okay, let's go pre-COVID. What's regular? How many listings are on the market in Campbell River?
So for single family detached, like how you're laughing
No,
right now, total active listings?
Yeah.
Very minimal. Like right now we probably have under 60 single family dwellings.
Crazy.
It is crazy. It's tough.
Well,
a lot of buyers from the mainland will say, well, we just can't find a lot on the market right now. And it's like, no, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Yeah. We don't even have properties here, right? But I mean, so you've seen the shift, right? You've seen the people come from here and go get more for their money there. Are they being disappointed kind of now going over there and seeing like, oh crap, this is expensive now too? Or is it still pretty affordable?
Well, I don't think that they're thinking it's too expensive. I mean, you can still, you can get brand new ranchers that are under $850. So that's still, quite affordable for people coming from the mainland. Like, what's your average sale price right now?
I mean,
detached.
Yeah, detached in Surrey right now is like, I think benchmark price is, well, depending on which number you look at, like 1.6 to 1.8.
Yeah, so our single family average sale price right now is $740.
Yeah, wow.
Right? So
$740 right now is a lower end 2-bed townhouse.
That's
here.
So they're definitely not thinking it's expensive.
Yeah. So, but do you have then like the income required? Because like everybody always thinks, oh, I'm going to move to Calgary. And then they're like, oh, the problem is there's maybe not the same jobs in Calgary. Like, do you guys have that income requirement in the industry there to like sustain those? Or is it literally the prices are lower because you just don't have the same average income?
Well, I think that there's a lot of people who are actually semi-retiring, cashing out from, the mainland. Even we've seen a lot of Alberta buyers, Ontario, like the mix has just been, this is just my own stat, but I would say that at least 80% of the buyers that we are dealing with within my office are not local.
No? How many? 80%?
Yes. It's all out of town people.
You guys need that no mainland buyer tax or whatever.
Right.
Didn't like Nova Scotia just put that in? Like, we don't even want people they're not just no foreign buyers. We're like, nobody from anywhere else. Right? Exactly. Full disclosure, no cocktails today, Anita. Just a bubbly.
H2O to
go. So here's the weird thing. Like for us, like working with my partner, Chris, for so many years, like 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way up until like probably 2018, most of our listings that we were selling, people were just leaving town. Right? So we had an issue with our like clientele of like, oh, the new people coming here aren't from here. So like we would have a lot of listings selling, but we wouldn't know a lot of the buyers coming into the area, right? Because they're people from out of Canada, outside of province, all these things. So is that kind of like what your experience, like everybody that's reaching out to you, first of all, are they reaching out to you before they come to Campbell River? and looking for an agent there? Or are you seeing like out of area agents like bringing the clients in? Because we can sell anywhere in the province legally.
Very few out of town agents, and I mean coming from the mainland or even further south, Victoria, very few actually come to our market. Very few. Maybe last year I had like 3 from Vancouver who came over.
Yeah.
But I would say that most people have a realtor before they come over.
Yeah.
They'll phone and we'll get them set up on a buyer's agency, and they'll start to look at the market because again they go, we can only see about 4 houses for what we're
So they're
looking
like coming over for like the weekend and like, hey, we're gonna go look at these places and like pick one, or are they making multiple trips?
They're usually FaceTime showing now because we do a lot of FaceTime showings for people out of town because it's a bit of a trek to get over here, take the ferry. It's a day, right? And
How many? Like how many of your showings are like with FaceTime?
well, between Nicole and I in our office, I would say on average we do at least 10 FaceTime showings a week for out of town buyers.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
goodness, it's so different than here. Like I sold one house, let's call it quote unquote virtual during the pandemic, but I mean we did the full FaceTime viewings and stuff. But that was like they already knew. There were people that used to live here and they're coming back, so they already kind of knew the area. I can't. I mean, if we've had a couple of investors, I guess, but I just can't believe that like that's
Yeah.
the norm for you. You're actually that person that they say is going around showing property with. Wow, that's
Absolutely.
crazy to me. So and then so these people are like retirees mostly.
Well, or gearing up to retire,
Okay.
semi-retiring, to getting rid of their job, taking a, oh, maybe I'll work at the golf course, or, they're not too sure what they're going to do, but they're not fully retiring. I would say that there's a lot of, 50 to 60-year-olds moving to the island, or they're moving here because their kids live here.
Oh, so the kids have already gone.
Mhm.
So now they're like, we're gonna go follow them and see the grandkids and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
Why Campbell River? Why not
Why not Campbell River? Campbell River, I think, is honestly, we used to be that little mill town, really like on the island, you've got 3 kind of industrial hubs, Victoria, Nanaimo, then Campbell River. Most people would go to, Parksville, Comox Valley, but Campbell River is really just become discovered. We have way more waterfront than the Comox Valley. Our seawalk alone is 17 kilometers that goes all the way along. And we just have way more view homes. We're the same distance to Mount Washington. We offer, 4 golf courses. There's just a lot for a lifestyle choice.
Can I share with you my disappointment of Campbell River? And I don't want this to be a judgment. I have family that's probably going to watch this in Campbell River that's lived there forever.
I would love to hear why you don't like Campbell River, Steve.
No. I love it. I'm just saying my disappointment with it when I go there is the highway is the best real estate in all of Campbell River. And like you're driving every day looking at the ocean, but it's like I can't really buy too many homes that are on the ocean.
Well, maybe you just haven't explored a lot out into, like, say, Painter Barkley area. Not that I'm biased because I'm a painter, but Painter Barkley area has a lot of waterfront. There's a lot of little roads off the side that are not just on the highway that offer a lot of waterfront as well.
Okay. Well, how come you never took me there? How come we never went on a tour?
Well, yeah, I didn't know you were shopping for real estate, Steve.
I see a question I want to get to here. So if you're on, everybody can answer a question. This is actually for me. Sorry, Anita, you're gonna have to deal with some Surrey stuff. Hi, Steve. I have a question for you. Hoping you can help. I probably can't, but we'll see what we can do. My family is new to BC. We're looking at Langley, Cloverdale, Ladner, South Surrey. Could you share which one will grow faster? Ladner will not grow. So if you're looking for a smaller town feel, Ladner, by the way, feels like Campbell River in a lot of places, just so you know. Not sure if you've been there. Anita. Cloverdale's where I am, so best neighbors in town, for sure be in Cloverdale. Langley, here's the reason I personally don't prefer Langley, and I know this is a reason that Anita lives where she lives. The traffic in Langley is silly. Like, Anita, I know we were talking the other day, and this was the other day, months ago, and you were like, I got to get there, and there's a little bit of traffic. And you're like, I can't believe it takes me 10 minutes to get across town now. It used to take me 5. And here I am at like 64th and 200th in Langley for like 15 minutes just trying to get through the intersection. So personally, that's why I don't prefer Langley myself. There's some other reasons, but that's the main one. And then South Surrey. South Surrey is getting the biggest. South Surrey is going to be, well, it depends where you are in South Surrey. If you're in the old area of South Surrey where things are really, really like expensive and was the nice spot that everybody wanted to get to, it's not really expanding a ton. But the other side, Grandview, that place is going to blow up. Congestion, though. Also congestion. So move to Cloverdale. That's the right answer.
Just look where Steve lives.
So Anita, when I'm going to Campbell River and I'm cashing out of my Vancouver lottery house, because every house in Vancouver now is a lottery, and I'm coming over there, am I allowed to ask you, where do I move? Like, what do you have preferred neighborhoods? Can you tell me where to not be, or are you going to offend all of your local Campbell Riverites?
Well, I think, we've got really 5 sub areas, and each one offers a unique, depending on if it's a family retirement, you want to be close to the golf course, you want to be close, do you have a boat, where is it mooring at? All of those sort of things play a factor. If you're looking for family neighborhoods, really, you probably want to be Campbell River Central or Willow Point. But in all honesty, Quince Campbellton is probably the least desirable neighborhood. It's mostly industrial now. Like, our official community plan has tried to make that not really have any single family dwellings. Most of them that have commercial zoning. So it's, it's a little bit of a rougher neighborhood. But
we have those. I'm from Surrey. Come on, I know all about those.
I know. But I mean, I lived in Campbellton, when I first started in real estate. So there's a lot of beautiful places down there too. It's right on the river. You don't get a lot of riverfront. A lot of them have their own docks, so can have their own boats on it. And so there's some beautiful places in Campbellton as well. But, that's a little bit more industrial. The West End has really gotten a lot more popular. Not just saying that because I live up here, but there's a lot of bigger properties. There's that big, huge, the Campbell River Golf and Country. It's just been all redone. It's a beautiful golf course. They're putting in a huge spa, and it's really changed that neighborhood. A lot of new construction.
Yeah. Does it feel bigger than it used to? Because to us, it's still a small town.
Still a small town. Like, we're saying, I think we're like 44,000 now.
Yeah.
But it definitely it's got a different vibe going on than it has before. Like, the last 4 years, it's really changing. A lot of big structures going up, and we're expanding a little further north, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how familiar you are with like the Race Point over the Seymour Narrows area. It's phenomenal. It's where the Ripple Rock explosion was. If you want to look that up, it's a big part of the history. And there's going to be 200 lots going up out there that are a little bit more probably recreation use, but phenomenal views. You might want to invest there, actually, Steve. I'll talk to your wife about it.
She actually said hi on the chat.
I know, I saw that. I was like, where is she? Why isn't she on here with
us? As soon as I start live streaming, she just books it out of the house as fast as possible. So I find it interesting because I've almost seen in my personal business now more than like a shift where people were going out of town. They're almost just staying put now.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's probably uncertainty, right? Like, the market was going so crazy, nobody wanted to do anything. Now the market's slowed down so much, nobody wants to do anything. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they're like, oh, we're just going to wait and see. And I'm like, well, what does wait and see mean? Right? Like, wait for what? Like, you have to put a measure in. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting to see forever and ever and ever. So I just can't see, I don't know. I kind of find it personally foolish when people make decisions based on what the market's doing, as opposed to like if I'm moving to Campbell River, if I'm coming to see Anita and we're moving to Campbell River, I'm moving there, right? I'm moving there for probably lifestyle, for small town, right? For finances to no longer have a mortgage or whatever it is, right? I'm not doing it because, the market's good. And unfortunately, people don't realize when the market's good, that's only good for part of the market, right? It's not good for everybody. So it's really, I don't know. I am seeing like why so many people want to get involved in the market when it's nuts, to me
Well, and I
is
think,
strange.
the global pandemic might have had a little bit of a spin of people hitting a panic state, really, and really evaluating their life, like what is my top priorities, and raising children or what have you, I think is a big part of it too, and lifestyle. And I think that a lot of people who would come to BC or make a move within BC, I really think the island and the interior were pretty top two,
Mhm.
right? I mean, obviously Vancouver, but I think with like all the, not that I'm trying to say negative things, I'm from the Okanagan, I have a large amount of family from there, but like with all the fires that have been happening, and like their summers have been so awful just with their quality of air, and
Yeah. Did you guys
um,
get smoked out at all in the last few years?
slightly, maybe like a day or two, but we got that like morning recovery from the salt air and
What
the
people don't
wind.
like here's the thing. Like you've BC your whole life?
I've been in BC my whole
Yeah.
life, yeah.
So me too. Like I was born in SMH, so like I've moved like 4 kilometers. Um, the big thing like I've noticed is I don't ever remember once until about 2017 smoke in the summer. And
Yeah,
now it's like I think last year or the year before wasn't bad, but since like 2017 on, like August and is a write off. Like you
I know.
can't go outside because the smoke is so bad for like 3 out of the last 4 or 4 out of the last 5 years.
I know. Well, I even went with my cousin. We did a half marathon in Kelowna back when I could run. That was a couple years ago, and and it was so awful. I could not believe it. You could barely even see, and just you can almost taste it when you're breathing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like quality of air is a huge thing, and I think like even if you're on a weekend heading over to Vancouver, you can get over on the ferry pretty easy. Coming to the island, if you don't have a reservation, good luck,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
right?
I could see like if it was me and I was thinking like interior island personally, I would now because of the smoke in the summer, I would pick island every single time.
Yeah,
I know the interior's always had issues with fires, but it's strange to me that it's such big. I'd say they're so big fires now, or they're closer to me, whichever one it is. I don't know. But to me, that is absolutely. It's just not something I ever thought I would need to consider,
I know.
right? And now it's like when you're moving to BC, you're like, holy crap, we got to worry about forest fires.
Well, and I think too, a lot of the baby boomers who were traveling go to Arizona for 4 months out of the year. And then with COVID, you're thinking about healthcare, all of that. You Google where the warmest place in Canada is in the winter, and Victoria is the first thing that pops up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then they start looking at real estate in Victoria. You start looking at the island. A lot of people now, like I've been in real estate for 17 years, and I would say it's only in the last like 4 to 5 years where majority of the buyers are shopping in the Comox Valley and Campbell River. Because of course, coming from a larger city, people don't even bat an eye at driving 30 to 40 minutes,
Oh, not at all. That's just
right?
like, yeah, I got to drive an hour to my listing on Monday. Like,
Yeah, well, like here, I can be in the Comox Valley, leave my house in under 40
but isn't
minutes.
that strange for, like you say, the snowbirds, right? So let's say you're going to go to Palm Springs from December 1st to February 28th or something like that, or even March, whenever, and you're going to come home and then you're going to spend like July and August, you almost have to leave again.
Yes.
Right? Because if your house is if you're like Palm Springs and then the other Palm Springs, which is Kelowna, and you're in
Right.
Kelowna and there's 2 months of the year that like, oh, I don't know how awesome this is getting, right? So John John is on making comments about going to northern BC. John's a guy that I've seen comment on the channel. I think he's a realtor up in Prince George. So I guess they're not having the fire issue. So
Yeah, I guess they're not. They just have a snow issue.
too cold. I haven't been up to Prince George in many, many years, but I don't know. Actually, that's another thing too. Like, I don't know if John can comment on it in the comments, but I used to have people that would move to Prince George, and like that's a spot that like not a lot of people are
They've got a
considering.
great university, and I went there actually for BC Winter Games when my daughter was in judo, and I thought they did a great job. The community, I mean, that's the only time I've ever been there, but I can't remember the university is, UVLA or something, but it's a beautiful university, and yeah, it's a really, I thought they did a great job. Obviously, there was the winter games, so there was fireworks, and
Yeah.
the town was lit up, but it was nice.
How many people are coming from South Island just moving north?
Well, there's definitely some. I mean, I'm working with a couple right now. I would say, you know, I don't know the exact percentage, but probably under 5% maybe.
Yeah.
Because they can cash out there too. I mean, Victoria's costs are really skyrocketing too now, right?
Yeah. Is anybody do people have like concerns right now in your market like they do here, or is it still kind of because right now in the lower mainland, I know this is happening in Vancouver and Toronto, there's always the bubble heads out there that saying everything's going to go crazy and all that stuff. Are there people kind of saying stuff is too crazy there, or are they still where we were 3 or 4 months ago going, holy crap, like this is going and going and going and I still only see upside?
Well, I mean, our average sale price still climbed like, I don't know, 28,000 last month. We are, I think one of the big changes for us here in our community is because the average sale price keeps climbing, but it's the people who are moving here are buying what is our high end. That lower end market has very little buyers anymore.
Really?
Yeah, very little. And which is really interesting. And I don't think, we're typically usually 2 to 3 months behind you guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I've been on a couple multiple offers in the last week, had a couple collapses too, though. So that could be a sign.
We've had more collapses in the last 45 days than we did all last year. Right.
Really?
Yeah, it's because now you have unqualified buyers offering. Yeah, we're seeing a ton of it. We're also now running into things like, regular real estate, right? Like inspection and people wanting to renegotiate and all sorts of different things. But
we've always had regular real estate here.
Yeah, right.
So even like in a multiple offer, I think one of the larger ones that for our marketplace would be like 12 or 15 offers on one place.
Mm-hmm.
There was maybe 50% would be subject free, but we've never seen like all of them being subject free, like how you guys were for like 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, like 2016. I don't know if we got any subject deals together, right? It was all like just unconditional.
Since 8 years you've been
No, like in 2016.
Oh.
Right? Like 2016, I think we were like 123 transactions or something, and it was like all like unconditional. It was crazy time. Now, thankfully, that's kind of calmed down. Right. So
I think like personally, I think that's good, especially for first time buyers. They need to be able to do their due diligence and not live in a whirlwind.
So are people, I mean, you've got small town there. Do you still have the people that like the kids that are like, I'm getting the hell out of here at like 18 years old. I'm going down island, or I'm moving to the big city, or like is there still kind of that exodus of those young kids that think there's something more somewhere else?
Well, I'm hoping that that definitely comes into my children's thought process.
What, you hope it does? You're trying to get them out of the door?
Trying to get them out because my oldest was in university when COVID first hit and then came back home. So I think that scared him. But yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not a lot for 19 to 25-year-olds in our community.
Yeah.
Right? There's just not a huge amount. I mean, obviously, if you're going to go fishing and golfing and all the outdoor stuff, climbing mountains and whatever, right? There's lots of mountain climbing and a lot of different things here. But I think for that kind of vibe for when you're 19 to 25, our town's definitely lacking.
Yeah. You got I don't know. I would worry about that, right? Because as a dad, you would want to be like, hey, are my kids wasting any time doing things they shouldn't be doing to try and keep themselves entertained, right? That would always be my biggest worry about moving to a small town, because everybody's like, hey, I want to move to a small town and give my kids the experience of like, you can run outside and not worry about it, and give them that kind of Canadiana lifestyle. And then it's like, I'm also like, at 18, sometimes it's not the best place to be.
No, exactly. And that's why I say that for my kids, because there is a lot more out there. I mean, our college and stuff has definitely grown and we offer quite a bit more, but I think, Nanaimo would be the next spot of where someone would want to go if you're heading south.
Don't they call Nanaimo like Surrey by the sea? Isn't that what they
That's right.
call it? Must be a great spot.
I
There.
personally wouldn't want to live in Nanaimo. That's just me.
Oh man, we're gonna have some trash talking going on here, like island talk.
Yeah. No, it was just, that would just be my own personal choice. I'd probably go Victoria.
So if people are moving to the island, maybe Campbell River, maybe not, what should they look forward to? Like what's coming to the island?
Well, I definitely don't look forward to the ferries.
Don't look forward to travel. Look forward to booking your appointments on the ferry back and forth.
In all honesty, I never take the ferry. I always just do Harbor Air.
Yeah.
18 minutes. Yeah.
So Harbor Air goes like Harbor Vancouver.
To Harbor Nanaimo or Courtney.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's how long?
18 minutes.
Oh man, I've been doing it wrong.
You have been doing it wrong, but I guess it's different if you're coming over with the family. Like usually, like say we're going over to Richard Robbins, it's 18 minutes from Nanaimo to Vancouver, harbor to harbor.
Wow.
You don't have to drive, you don't have to worry about ferry, all of that. Besides IKEA, I don't think that the island's really missing out on much.
Yeah.
Really, like there's everything that you could want to do. Besides, Victoria has large concerts now that we're allowed to have them back, but I don't think that there's really anything that the island's lacking.
Yeah, because you guys had improvements in like healthcare and stuff over the last like 5 years, right?
Yeah, we had 2 new hospitals, one in Courtney, one in Campbell River. I mean, the healthcare Victoria's phenomenal. I mean, I've sadly been there a lot with my family.
So tell me this, when idiot Steve is coming from Surrey and moving to Campbell River, and I have like all these high expectations that I'm going to get a palace with like a ocean view and all that stuff, and then you bring them a little bit back to reality, like, hey, it's affordable here, but it's not, everything isn't the perch up on the hill. What is the most common like expectation you have to handle to like kind of bring people into reality? Do people think like they're going to get like everything, and then they go like, I'll give you an example. When people come here from, let's call it Ontario, they're like, we want to go see that 2,700 square foot house. And we show them and they're like, that house isn't 2,700 square feet. Oh no, here we include the basement in the square footage. Back east, they don't do it. Right. So that's now an expectation. They're like, oh, that's 2,700 square feet, not like 5,400 square feet or whatever the math is. Like, no. Yeah, it's not that big. They're like, oh, well, this isn't big enough now. I'm like, a 5,400 square foot house, that's like 2.7 million. Right. Jeez. And they're like, oh, so it's just an expectation thing. So is there something like that like when somebody's coming from somewhere else or the lower mainland, they come to Campbell River and they're just like,
I would say
disappointed, kind of?
Yeah, I think the disappointment would be for the views, because we have so much waterfront, but there's not a huge amount of view homes on the market. So that's one thing that, I really want to be able to see the ocean from my house. That's usually one of most people's top things.
Yeah.
Right? Like they want that, or new. Like we don't have a huge amount of new construction on the market because we just haven't had much land at all, like an all-time low of new construction.
Why is the land locked? Is it in big acreages that aren't doing anything? Is it park land? Is it
there's some
land?
Things with like sewer from within the city and some water issues out further on the north end. Like they had to drill down, I don't know if it was like 400 feet, but they were having some issues getting the water. So it was more about the services of what they could connect to the larger pieces that are still out there.
So
it's been delayed. I think last year there was under, probably, there was 38, like probably under 60 new lots.
Really?
Which is really low because, like 5 years ago it'd be like 250.
Yeah. So Canadian style, not enough new supply coming to the market, right? Totally. That's every market. Like every market. I go to Calgary and I look around and I'm like, you guys don't see those big rolling hills? And everybody's like, oh, we don't have enough supply. I'm like, why don't you build on that hill over there? And it's just like this nice slope. Like you should be able to build there, but everybody's saying, hey, supply or building's taking too long. Is Campbell River like one of those cities where like it's hard to build?
Well, I'm actually building a house right now.
Oh, wow. You're the expert. Here you go.
I don't know if I'm the expert, but it took, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months to get the final permits and everything from city. And now I guess we're like 2 months in. So yeah, it's like 10 months to build a house.
Okay, from application of permit or actual construction?
From like the very start of like drawing up the plans and everything to move in.
10 months?
Yes.
We're coming to you. Like,
Well, that seemed like a long time for me because I want my house.
so
But no,
just so you know, Vancouver, pre-pandemic Vancouver was 18 months to get your permit,
wow. See, that's yes. No, we're 6 to
right?
10.
I had a client that put a shed in his backyard, but it was bigger than 10 by 10, so he needed a permit for it. So he
Yeah.
built like 15 by 15 or something. He went because he's the guy that does all the things and, goes to the city and checks everything. It took him 12 months to get that final approval on his shed.
Wow.
Right.
Well, I guess our city's doing a good job then.
Oh man, yeah. If you are like file permit to move on in 10 months, man, I think everybody.
I'm hoping
needs to
that my
come
house
down.
will be ready in August. So maybe you and Meg and the kids can come check out my new pad when you come see your family. Well, it's funny actually that you say that because Derek Timmons, I was chatting with him the other day, and he's building a new house in Calgary. And we shared each other's plans and we were chatting a little bit. And he said, "When do you hope to move in?" And I said, "July or August." He's like, "This year?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because he's at least 7 months longer.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Derek would be mad if you said he's in Calgary. He's in Airdrie.
Airdrie.
If anybody doesn't know, Airdrie is north of Calgary, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And Derek Timmons is the best looking man in real estate. I think I'm number 2, but maybe not.
What? We'll just give him a shout out. I'll tell him that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm shocked right now. I'm not seeing more people heading to the island.
Are you?
I'm not seeing as much of it. And the ones that I am seeing, they're still trying to get into Victoria. And what most people don't realize is like when you leave Surrey and you want to move to Victoria, Victoria is Burnaby pricing, which is upwards of Surrey.
Okay.
Right? So people are like, I'm going to move the island. And they look at Victoria and then I'm like, how much bigger of a mortgage are you taking on? Right? They don't really understand that it's like down in Victoria, how expensive it is. And I guess that's why everybody starts doing the progression up to where you are, right?
I think John's a little sad that you didn't give him a shout out that he's a nicest looking.
John, we already talked about you, man. We're good.
Oh,
Prince George. He's my dude in Prince George. So
I think that it's just I don't think that the buyers are going anywhere. We have a lot of people that are still, oh, we want to come, but we won't be there till June, or we'll start looking then. And I just think, like I said, I really think we've just become discovered.
yeah.
It's like the Hawaii of Canada.
You guys gotta stop saying that.
It is though. Like, I mean, it's funny because when you come here, have you gone over to the other islands like on Cortez,
No, I haven't.
You've never gone to any of those beaches and gone all around and actually explored. You just go on the family little nature hike and you don't go explore all around because you look at Tofino. I mean, have you gone to Tofino?
I have never been to Tofino.
Okay, it is crazy. I told you I wouldn't swear, so I won't even say it's a something show. It's like a shit show when you go there. It's so packed because that's the beach that everybody knows about on the island, but the locals never go there because we have white sandy beaches all over where the locals go. And it's beautiful. We have surfers now out there in the winter in their wetsuits surfing all along when you're driving along the island highway. That's new here. Like we never used to see that, but it's that's why I say the Hawaii of Canada, because where else are you going and doing that?
Yeah. Wow. I think you're taking some artistic privilege by calling it the Hawaii of Canada, I guess. But
I'll take it.
Yeah, totally. So, what, like, when we're thinking Campbell River, you had mentioned to me before that there are additions, particularly coming to Campbell River from like I guess you would call it from like a infrastructure point of view. There's things being added into Campbell River that is like kind of getting you guys to the next level? of town?
Well, we have a lot of, 4 to 6 story rentals happening. There's like 4 new big buildings that went up. The rental market, I mean, the price of rent is just crazy. There was just one right by the pier that, obviously a very nice building that Crown Pacific built. And the top floor penthouse was a 3 bedroom, and they were getting like close to $4,000 a month rent. All signing that's very high rent for our marketplace,
It's high for
right?
here too, yeah.
Yeah, and they were gone first.
So how about here? There's a good question. Like, okay, so you're going to invest in Campbell River. What are the rent? So let me give you an example. Here, if I'm looking for a rental, I'm looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath unit. It's going to cost me $650,000. It's going to rent for $2,100 a month. That doesn't cover until I'm like 35% down.
Yeah.
If I'm coming to Campbell River and I want to invest there because I can't afford $750 here, what am I buying?
What are you buying? Well, I think that I probably would have to say, like for single family, like you're going 2-bed, 2-bath condo is what you're going to invest in.
Well, that's what I'm doing here. So let's say I can't afford $650 here. I can afford $500, or I can afford $450, and I want to come to Campbell River. What do I do?
Oh, $450 you're in a condo now, like our single family ranchers might be able to pick up a rancher that you could rent out for $6 to $650, a 3-bed, 2-bath rancher. But you're probably going into a condo. Things with Campbell River condos is there's a lot. One of the challenges that I find is a lot of them are no rentals and no pets.
So they're
right?
like 90s built.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a bit of a challenge. We need a little bit more supply of that, but all the new ones that are coming on, well, there's one new building, but it's not going to be completed till the end of next year. But they were pre-sales, and
I love your small towns.
I know, I'm just a small town island girl.
We got
like, right?
Yeah.
Campbell River is the salmon capital of the world, John.
So let's say it for sure is, because when I was in Campbell River last time, you sent me to a salmon fishery, which was actually a super interesting, fun thing to do, which I never thought I would say, but it was actually it was pretty cool. So let's go apples for apples then. So my budget's $650 here. I'm getting a condo, 2-bed, 2-bath. There I get a rancher. I get like an old 1970s rancher detached home, so I don't have a strata fee.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Now what's it rent for?
So you would probably, I'm not licensed.
Yeah, not that you're licensed. Get your disclaimers in.
Property management, but you would probably get anywhere from 26 to 3,200 right now.
That's crazy.
Depending on is it a new kitchen? Does it updated? Is it dated? You know what I mean? Like all of that. Does it have a double garage? Is there RV parking? Everybody wants RV parking.
So here we can spend $650, have a strata fee, and get $2,100 a month. There you could spend $650, no strata fee, and get like $2,800 a month possibly. Oh yeah. Man, maybe I'm invested in the wrong spot.
Right?
Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like I was looking at it with, actually I was looking at it with Jolene up in Edmonton, and looking at properties, and it's like you can write a check for those right now, right? And the cash flow's good on them.
I know. I told you I was looking at stuff like 2 years ago, and now the Calgary market's interesting right now too, because they're starting in the last month seeing a lot of multiples happening, and their inventory is not nearly as high as it has been the last 5 years.
I wouldn't touch Calgary right now with I wouldn't. And I got an opinion on that because I just view it as so boom or bust that I don't know it. I don't know it, right? So I don't understand, but I just personally wouldn't. I'm seeing so many people that can't afford here. They have FOMO and they're going there. And if you told me to pick between Campbell River and Calgary, I'd pick Campbell River every single time. Right.
But it's interesting that you were looking in Edmonton. Was that something you would pick Edmonton over Calgary?
I would, because it at that time it didn't see any run up. But it was just literally they were that much less that it's you can cut a check out of your HELOC, buy it cash today, and just turn that thing over at a profit, right? You don't need financing, you don't need nothing. You just go in, pay cash. It's, let's call it $170,000. And then, you're renting it $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a no-brainer. Except I got talked out of it. And the reason I got talked out of it, sorry, Jolene, if you're watching, I know you're not. The reason I got talked out of it is I know a few people that invest there, and they were like, the headaches with tenants there is not good.
Really?
Yeah, like there's just the amount of people that just leave, break their leases, not so much trash the place, but like just vacate, don't tell the property manager they're vacating, they're gone, the check doesn't come in, we try and get checks for like 6 weeks, found out that they're gone like 12 weeks ago, like I don't know, right? So I just didn't want anything to do with it.
Well, that's interesting. And the only reason I was there seeing Jolene, and she had to go to one of her condos. It was a beautiful 2-bed, 2-bath, nicely updated. And this was probably like 3 years ago. And I think it was just over 200,000, like 209,000. And I thought, this is a great deal.
Yeah. Yeah, they were, I don't know. Calgary was the same thing. Like it looked like a good deal, but I personally, I don't know the market, and I know that there's just so much downside if you need to liquidate quickly in a down market.
Well,
and I don't even think Campbell River has that, right? Like I don't think smaller towns really have that in BC. Well, maybe if you go up into Lytton or something like that, but those are tiny little towns, right? So not that I know anything about those areas. Anyway, awesome, Anita. I don't want to keep you. You got stuff to do. You got to go build that house. You got to get your hammer out. What are you doing?
well, I just picked up my flooring today, Steve. Pretty excited.
Do you have samples? No, we should probably do that off the live stream.
Yeah, no, I returned them. I was a good girl.
Awesome. Well, we can wrap this up. I'll keep you on the call so we can chat a little bit later on, but this was awesome. If people want to reach Anita Painter, I have all of her contact information down below in the description. Otherwise, Anita, how do they reach you? I probably don't give your cell phone number, but maybe give your office number, website, something like that.
How about Anita@AnitaPainter.com?
There you go. Oh, you gave an email. You're getting...
That way Nicole doing it. No, just joking. I'm just joking. No, that was great, Steve. Thanks for having me on my first live event.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Remember, if you're still watching this, you're probably not, but if you are, like, subscribe, comment down below, and both Anita and I will try and come back to this video and answer your questions.